Everyone, my name is Cole Myers. I am doing Technology for Immortality. I'm a student at UNC Charlotte, and the main topic that I want to talk about is the issue of the definition of immortality. I am doing this in a scientific, historical, and ethical fashion. Now, someone want to read that definition? Go.
Immortality, immortal condition or quality of unending life. So basically, eternal life.
Yes.
Living forever.
Yes. The issue with that is the quality of life. Now, immortal quality means that it does not end. Does not mean it is good. Someone on life support forever is immortal because they didn't die. Yes.
Just a quick question. Suppose if you're immortal, you can still die, even though if you live like after 100 years, for instance?
No, because immortal means you don't end.
You can't get killed.
Unending life. You do not die. That's the thing. So if you are truly immortal, you will never end. All right. Now, does anyone know a historical topic or a historical example of this? Yes.
The Fountain of Youth.
Correct. That is from the Spanish, colonization of the Americas. Florida is where they believe it was at. So, good question. Anyone got another one? Yes.
This is kind of a funny one. Early English archaeologists, when they were unearthing like mummies in ancient Egypt, they used to eat their flesh because they thought it would extend it.
Yes, that is good. Now, the first two of those are actually from Egypt, avoiding sleep and drinking gold. The second one and third are from China. The fourth one is the one you talked about. The last one was something done by Pope Innocent the Eighth. It was 3 young men who died from their blood loss because he decided he got a Jewish physician who decided that was the best way to do it, is young blood transfusion. So 3 men died and the Pope drank their blood is the main assumption. It says infusion, but there's no historical record of it.
Like drinking it from a life.
They believe yes. It was described as an infusion. It was not stated how it was done. This was the 14th century. It was probably drinking because they did not have the technology to insert blood into your veins. All right. Now, immortality I am describing in 3 different types. The first one, digital immortality. This is something that people may not understand. I will cover it in this next slide. The next one, biomedical immortality. This is what most people think of. It's a body that is completely human and does not die, does not age, does not get sick. The last one is cybernetic immortality, which is using robotics to make a biological life form, not die. Now, we have digital immortality. There are 2 ways to do this. Does anyone know who this character is? Yes. Correct. Now, this, I believe, is from the original Star Wars trilogy, this frame. His character was revived when Disney started doing the new Star Wars trilogy, and it was brought back as a younger person, even though he died in the 1990s, I believe. Maybe in the 80s. It was close to the 2000s. I can't remember the exact year. But his character was brought back after his death, and his estate sued Disney for it. The issue is his life ended, but his legacy continued on in digital content because there is no way to stop companies from doing this. Anything you put online will last forever. Yes?
Wait, the actor died or the character died?
The actor died.
The actor died?
The actor was dead and his estate sued on his behalf. Yes?
Some of the deceased musicians, they're posting releases and stuff.
Yes. Yes. There is also the more common, or the more recent example with Scarlett Johansson, where an AI, I think it was an AI company that was doing voice for assistants like Siri, was in contact with her, and she said she didn't want to do it anymore. So they agreed, and one of the 5 voices they came out with sounded exactly like her and did not have her name. It had someone else's name, and she sued them, and the founder said that there was a miscommunication on his part. He was not aware of that. I don't think that was true. No one can prove it. Now, there is also digital consciousness versus digital twin. Does someone want to read that quote for me? Yes.
The question is whether a computer that simulates the whole human brain to a sufficiently limited degree would become, in some sense, a human mind or indeed any other sort of mind.
Yes. That brings up the issue of storage, or the ability of a digital platform to create something that works like a brain. Because our brain is not a storage medium. It is a connection of things that interact. Now, digital consciousness versus digital twin is a philosophical issue where if you went through a procedure to become a digital person and you died, is that person, your consciousness moving, or did you die of brain death and a copy was made on the machine? Which one is it? You can't tell. If the person lives, you know the answer because the person lived and continued on. So it is a twin. If they die, you have no idea who. And that's the issue, is you can't prove it because the only way to prove it is to disprove it. And if you do prove it, it doesn't matter because it still could be the false because you still made a copy either way. Now, biomedical, this is what everyone thinks of as human body. The research I found was talking about adult stem cell growth, which used, what was that? I can't remember what it's called, because it's a weird lysocyst thing. It is a solution that they are able to use genetic modification on to change what the adult stem cell becomes. They have been able to do this to generate prostate and mammary glands, and they are able to genetically modify the solution to get a targeted organ. So if they wanted to, they could grow a heart. All right. Now, what are the ethical issues with this? Does anyone have something they would have that's unethical about this or ethical? Yes.
It may just be expensive, so longer lives are only for like the wealthiest.
All right, that is fair. Did you have a question?
Yeah, also how they're like getting the stem cells to these treatments is also a big ethical issue that I know.
Yeah, all right. Now, there's also other options. We have cloning and hybrids, which we've talked about in class, and Japan looking for chimeras. Then we have gene modification. Cole, you did this Friday. Then we have cryonics. I always say that wrong, so I had to make sure about that. Now, who here would say that cryonics is ethical?
Yeah, freeze the body.
Yes. All right.
I guess if it's done with consent, there's no harm. So I guess it's ethical.
The issue with cryonics is that they speak a lot about being able to fix what caused the death and make the person immortal. But they are freezing a dead body and saying, we will fix what killed them. So a lot of what they preach is reviving the dead, not saving people's lives. Yes?
Okay, I have a question about cryonics. So
Yes.
suppose if you freeze a live body but it's unconscious.
Mhm.
So suppose after like 13 years,
Yeah.
would the body age or no? Yes, that's what I was thinking about.
The physical body will not decay in the way that a dead body does because it's frozen, but the electrical signals will stop because it was frozen. That is what most medical and scientific things classify as death, is the signals no longer transmitting. Your heart doesn't beat, it doesn't have any electrical pulse. That's what's considered your heart dying. So a lot of this is you freeze a body with the assumption that they'll be able to fix what killed you, but they don't solve the problem of this. So I believe this is an ethical thing. And they, I don't know if anyone has heard of this, they say that Walt Disney was through this process. He was not. He wanted to, and they said that his estate did not follow his wishes because he didn't have it in writing. He was cremated by his family. I do not know where he was entombed. Yes?
The reason why I was asking because I was thinking of an example like Mr. Freeze, like how
Yeah.
he froze his wife to find a cure to fix her disease.
So that is different because her heartbeat was always going. She was frozen to the point her body did not age or decay, but he had, if you ever look in any of the comics or anything, he always has life support on her and her heartbeat is still going. These people are freezing a frozen body entirely. There is no heartbeat on this person anymore. And some of the bodies, like I said, are already dead. You can't revive the dead. That is the issue we have here. Now, next, cybernetic immortality. This is for simpler terms, prosthetics, or replacements of a human body part with a robotic body part in order to increase their life. This research, or this study, found all of the research that is currently going on, and it talks about upper limb neuroprosthesis. Does anyone know what neuroprosthesis would be? Close.
Oh, is it just any sort of like technological change that's made to the brain?
No, it is using the biological signals in your body that your nervous system uses to move your arm as what controls the robotic. So, what is this? The EEG and EMG.
The timing's slower because it's got a process.
Yes.
But ours is almost, seems like it's simultaneous, but really there's a little time
Yes.
gap, correct?
Yes, there is. I believe it's if your body was scaled up so that your head was the size of Earth, it would take 2 weeks or 2 months for any pain in your foot to reach your brain. Just because of how long and how large you would be. That is the thing. Or it might be the size of Texas. I think it's the size of the Earth, but I think it's Texas. So, yeah. But it's the thing of, it's very slow, or it's very small delay. But when you get on that scale, it's large. But this would allow a prosthesis to move the same as your arm. And that's how they did these research. Or that's how they did these prostheses. They put the safe arm, had it move, then they would do the robotic arm, have a person move that, and then they would do them in sequence. And if it didn't match up, they redid the whole calibration. That was how they did these things. Now, I can see a lot of benefits for this. You get your mobility back. You might get more mobility. My father cannot move his arm higher than this. His shoulder does not allow that. If he did this, he'd be able to move his arm as freely as anyone else. Now, what is a harm of that? Does anyone have an idea? Yeah.
I would say a harm is there would be less interest in actually trying to solve those issues and going into this alternative route.
Yes, that is correct. People would decide, hey, I can just replace my arm. I don't have to worry about it being broken. So they would not worry about it, and they'd break their arm and say, okay, let's get a new one, instead of trying to fix it. There's also the issue in sports and competitions, because we already have separate running events for people with prosthetic running legs. These would be a lot different than those people because it is functioning like the human leg, and it is way more durable than any skin. It is majority metal. All right. Now, in conclusion, the definitions of the 3 types of immortality show that you can define immortality in numerous different ways and varying degrees of how ethical, unethical they are. And they can harm and benefit people even if it's not an individual level. Now, individual level, you can benefit from, like I said, your body is able to do more than what it was. You get back anything that you have lost through age or injury. So you would get a longer lifespan and your quality of life would be better. Now, on a large scale, affordability and just access, I guess. Because there are already medical treatments that are millions of dollars, or you can go to a country that does not have a very safe medical field where you might go for one thing and you lose your spleen. That's the thing that happens. So, there's a harm and benefit as a whole world of, even if these get involved, it's not guaranteed you're going to be able to get them.
Well, I had read, and I wanted to see your thoughts on this.
Yes.
I had read that in order to mimic an entire human brain, it would take all the electricity on Earth to do it.
I do not know about that.
Yeah.
What is it? Because the issue would be less with power and more with storage, because the human brain constantly changes, interacts, because the way it interacts is the signals between different neurons in different pathways. So, yeah. All right. Yeah. These are my references. This is my LinkedIn page. Does anyone have any questions before we? All right.
That's great.